Okay, steps for a security plan, and I listed all 7 here in a row, so you can kind of go with me. First, you want to determine the purpose, the vision, and the goals, right? And what I mean by that is that there's 2 types of plans that I call them. One is an emergency operations plan. That's an all risk, all threats, all hazards assessment. That covers A to Z and anything that could ever happen. That's an all-inclusive plan. It's over 100 pages long, and it's too complex, and it'll probably get shelved. It's too hard for people to follow. And then you have a specific tactical safety plan or security plan that focuses on what you feel is most important for your house of worship. And everyone might have a little different area of comfort zone on what they think that they should or shouldn't do or can and can't do. But you want to look at like something as simple as a trespasser, right? Or an unwanted person on your campus, or that could escalate up to a violent intruder, right? So you may want to have a plan for that, or a plan for a heckler. What do you do with a heckler? We're getting a lot of hecklers in the last few years with all the political turmoil that we've been experiencing. What do you do with a heckler without getting sued, right? Things like that. Discuss with your elders and leadership team. That's what they're there for. Use them. Create security policies, protocols, and procedures. The policy is why, and the policy is why we do things, and it's something that can be enforced. The protocol or the procedure is how we do things. So you want your folks to know, your staff and volunteer members, how we do things when something happens. And then it supports the policy that comes from your leadership team. Vet the plan with your house of worship leaders, as I just said. Review the plan with your legal counsel and your insurance carrier. That's important, especially with Church Mutual. Right now, if you're developing a security team, Church Mutual is sending out a questionnaire, and they're asking all kinds of questions on your security team. Do they do this? Do they have that? Do they not? And then that helps them determine a risk analysis, an assessment of how to best insure your group. So make sure that you include them in these decisions. Cooperate with your local law enforcement. They should know how to get onto your property, where to park their vehicles, and which doors you want them to come in, and which doors may not work that you don't want them to come in, and where your evacuation zones are. Things like that is very helpful for first responders. When I was in law enforcement, I would look at all my banks, and I would know where to park, where the front door was, who the manager in the bank was, and where to call in responding officers. So that was already pre-programmed in my head, so when we had the bank robbery, we didn't have to think about that. It was already done. So you can apply that same concept to your local law enforcement. And then exercise your plan. And when I say exercise, it doesn't have to be a full-scale exercise bringing in the whole town. You can do a simple tabletop exercise in-house, in your conference room, and talk about the scenarios, how you'd walk through them, and then get your staff and just do a walkthrough until everyone's comfortable. How do you use the radios? Who's going to be my traffic referee, and who's pointing to this door? Who's closing that door? Who's going to send them out the door? Stuff like that. Just simple stuff, but you have to do the walkthrough. It's very helpful. A plan is no good unless it's exercised. And then adopt the plan. And one thing I encourage is, once the plan is adopted, find your approval authority in your house of worship. It may not be the pastor. It may be your attorney. It may be your front office person or your admin lead. Whoever that person is, get their signature on the bottom of that plan and sign and date it. That way you know that this is now a formal document. It's been reviewed, vetted, and approved. Absent that, no one knows if it's ever been promulgated or used. And this is important if it comes up in court and if something were to happen during discovery motion.